Hi class, Stan here, Ithaca. Week 2 discussion on product specifications about the no substitution language involved in any of the buying and selling of equipment is our assignment for this discussion. The part 1 is why is the use of no substitution language an issue? Who are the potential winners and losers when no substitution language is used? Honestly, the winners are the buyers, the person who's seeking to purchase something. They know exactly what they want. The losers, if there is any, is the suppliers that have to fight amongst themselves and bid and provide that specific units for sale, basically, for the transaction, for the contract. And in that, the only thing that, if it's one brand of one kind of machine, of one specific product, no substitution, that means everybody's going to be going to basically, originally, whoever has the best relationship with that organization is going to win. If you have the best relationship and get a better cost than everybody else, you have the greatest margin of profit that you can cut to lower it in an attempt to win the contract. Then there is those people that are willing to lose money on it. I mean, that's all in the negotiating and the operations and decisions of an executive team in getting a contract. I have been in situations myself in my past with the grocery chain where there have been suppliers that have lost money on certain pieces of equipment within a project. They gain it in other areas. So, I mean, that is a strategy that they use to turn their losing, dealing with a no substitution, into an overall winning. But for that specific thing, you would consider them a loser. And our grocery store, our chain, was the winner because we got exactly what we wanted for the cheapest price possible. Now, someone who's looking at the bigger picture says, hey, they got you on that. You got them on that. So, they actually won in the end. Well, it's what they say, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's all those executive meetings and all that stuff. And that's where you can get into all those issues, which kind of lends into the 2 and 3 in the benefits. And part 2 has, on my screen, has 2 part 2s. But the opinion of using it, I think you should use it as much as possible, the no substitution, so that you as a consumer, me as the buyer, or you in your future positions, if you are, get exactly what you want. Don't leave anything out. Don't leave anything vague things, because those people that you're bidding to, they're going to use as much leeway as possible to create the largest amount of profit that they're going to get from this relationship they're making with you if you choose their bid. That super secret, behind closed door, bidding process. We had a situation where we, at my company I worked for, put out a statement about a mixing bakery mixer. And what's interesting is within those, no substitution, we specifically, set a machine, but they didn't specify the exact version of that machine, which had the extra add-ons and extra attachment capabilities that department actually needed to do the job. So when they purchased 5 units for 5 new openings, they thought they got a great deal, and then it arrived. Now, going along with all that other information that you're supposed to put in that specific, purchasing language, they did not even install the units. They didn't even train the people how to do it. They just were basically given a bid to provide the units. And then it wasn't even the exact unit they wanted, but it actually just like in our reading, it just ended up at the loading dock. And here we had people who didn't know how to actually even run the equipment or even put the equipment together. So it's important about those things get involved in that no substitution and complete picture of exactly what you want to buy. So I am a proponent. I've seen the downfall is just terrible when you're on the other end of getting the wrong equipment And you look back through all the agreements, including the guarantees of, oh, who ordered it wrong. Well, no, now you're going to have to pay for shipping to go back. We will give you another one. We'll give you your money back, but you're going to pay for shipping, etc., etc. So there's so many things also in that terms of agreement that are important. So I am highly for it, and I think it's involved in more things than actually just the restaurant things. And in our daily lives, we deal with it more than actually you think. My job at Lowe's, I just think of the flooring department. How many people I want Stainmaster carpet? There's 12 different versions. So just saying I want the Stainmaster carpet. Well, the associate could, and then they say at the best price I can get. Okay, they'll go for the cheapest version, but they technically assumed they were going to get one. Well, it's impossible for someone that you're giving a bid to or a product specification to assume correctly, to know exactly what you want, unless you exactly put it down in precise, no substitution language. So as a supporter, I'm highly for it. It eliminates mistakes. It expedites any processes of delivery and setup, and the overall, end product of satisfaction for a product is going to be better than any type of room for assumptions, because there's going to be the people who are receiving these things are in an office. They don't know you. You're just an account number. They just want to provide the best value for their company to make the most money. That's their job, is to make money and to send that bid back to you. So if you don't give them a specific, they're gonna create a range. So now that's part one and part two of part one, I guess. And part two, what are the potential alternatives to using no substitution language that would benefit both customers and manufacturers? Well, if you don't know specifically exactly what you want, because that happens, you may say, I need this type of equipment. I don't know if it exists or not, really. So you basically have to do the best description of what you want it to achieve and what you want it to be able to do to me. And that's actually going to be our other assignment today. Reading ahead is what we have to write up a product thing. Is you need to give it as much information so that they can look for a range. And so it's not just brand names. It's not just Coke. They can look at Coke, Pepsi, and Faygo, and all these other off brands to meet your cola requirement. As long as it meets your other requirements, and there has to be whatever, how much sugar and how much what, no aspartame, whatever. So if you are not exactly specifically knowing what you exactly know that you want, give them the most information they can to give that range, and then that will create actually a competitive bidding process from your suppliers. So what's interesting, though, the last assignment is, as technology keeps gaining more information about all their purchases and companies are becoming more technologically advanced, the middleman is being removed from the process. So what's interesting in this question I actually thought of was, and when I was reading the information, was the fact that the bidding process is almost in many ways going to the wayside in many situations, because I don't have to go to my B&W restaurant supply here in Ithaca, right up the street. If I want to, I could actually just contact the manufacturer of Braun and say, hey, I want that coffee machine. And I can get it cheaper at the same rate as B&W, because they have that technology advantage with the vast delivery system that exists with UPS, DHL, and all that throughout the nation and the world. You can send anything anywhere overnight if you really wanted to pay for it. And when it comes to getting a product, if you have enough initiative, you could contact probably anybody directly, and they'll set up an account and sell you something directly, if you're persistent enough. But many companies are setting that up now. They're kicking out the middleman. They're saying, hey, customers can buy it direct from me. and using the shipping mechanisms now, the agreement happens. Now, that just means thus the buyers, us classmates for this class for restaurants, we got to be more, educated on how to purchase this stuff, which I think is a great uh, point that the professor brings up about having this section of the class. It is important because if we have had no experience in purchasing equipment or buildings or industry, I've purchased whole grocery stores and everything, and I've had to walk a whole store and decide on old equipment, new equipment, get rid of this, I don't want that, this, that. But if you have never had that experience, how do you know what you want? How to buy this stuff correctly and protect yourself or the company that you work for. That's the important thing. So if you don't know specifically, give as much information as possible to your suppliers so that they can do the best job at getting you the right stuff. They really want to keep your business, but they also really want to take care of themselves first and keep your business. So you aren't the first. You are first in a tie in a way. And honestly, when it comes down to accountants, those bookworms, I say that because I'm management operations. We don't like them because they are literally pencil pushers. They have a calculator and they live with a calculator. They sleep with a calculator. They have pocket protectors for the calculator. We just look at spreadsheets and all that stuff, and they just live with that stuff. So it's a joke, but it's very serious that you can get hurt if you do not specifically put the range of what you want. If you do not know specifically the model number of any piece of equipment. So you got to give them the best information so that both parties get the best opportunity to do their job the best way and to satisfy each other so that it's a positive experience. It's the worst time in the world to have a bad relationship with all your suppliers. Nothing happens, and you can never call in favors. And I'll tell you, every job you will come across in the future, you want to have a great relationship. Build bridges, never burn them, make them wide, make them deep, make them strong, because you will find those bridges back and forth over and over again in your lives. At that job or a future job, I guarantee you'll find that true. And so never burn those and keep those relationships as great as possible. So again, I think no substitution is very important. I think it wins for the buyers, which in the end wins for the suppliers. And it also, if you don't have a specifics, do as much as you can for the range. Describe it as much as you can. Thank you. I appreciate you listening from part 1 and part 2 for the discussion. And look forward to comments. I hope I didn't bore you or put you to sleep. I have a monotone voice. It tends to do that. So good night. Sleep well.